So we often think in the gym world, we think of progressive overload. And so progressive overload is something that we kind of intuitively know in the gym. And the concept is over time, you are increasing the weight, you're increasing the sets, reps, or you're shortening your rest periods. You're doing the same amount of work in a shorter period of time. These are all ways you can influence volume, overall volume. And most of the time in the gym, we just sort of over time progressively overload, and then you can be a little bit more specific with it. That's why you see people in the gym with like notebooks, because let's say they're doing 150 pounds of bench press, they're doing 3 sets of 10. Well, the next week when they do bench press, they might do 150 pounds for 3 sets of 12. So that would be a slight increase in volume. And we don't often think about progression when it comes to cardiovascular work or cardio work. So that's something that I always work with people, and that's something I think that goes sort of overlooked. So a lot of times when people start doing cardio, and by cardio, I'm talking about steady state cardio. So that could be walking, using a treadmill, arc trainer, stair stepper, stationary bike, an elliptical machine, these types of things, or just like jogging outside. A lot of times we think, well, we have to have a fixed amount each week. So people start and they usually start with too much. But the thing with cardio is it's just like weights. You can progress it over time, and you probably should. So a lot of times when I'm working with people, when I first start working with them, the protocol that I give them is going to be very low. So I might say, okay, for the first couple weeks, I just want you to go on a 10-minute walk, okay? So Tuesday and Friday, you're gonna go for a 10-minute walk outside, and you're gonna go for a very moderate pace. So really the main idea, the objective here is to just burn a few extra calories, but you also get a lot of good hormones and chemicals that are secreted when you walk outside and you're in nature. We actually lower our cortisol more when we walk outside versus working on a treadmill or walking on a treadmill. So that's something you want to think about when you first start doing cardio work, and that's sort of supplementing your strength training. Don't forget to progress your cardio too, okay? Because the body likes small, subtle progressions over time, over a long enough time period. So if you're doing, if you start out doing 45 minutes a day on an elliptical, it's too much. Your body has nowhere to go after that, okay? Because then you gotta start doing 50 minutes a day or an hour a day and an hour and a half a day. It's like at some point you don't have enough time to do an hour and a half of cardio every single day. So what happens is people usually do too much to start, and then they quit after a week or two because they're like, I can't keep this up. So the best way to handle that is to progress it over a time period. So start low. Start with like a 10-minute walk twice a week. Do that for 2 weeks, and then increase it to 3 days per week, okay? And that's just an easy way to progress your cardio and stair step it up so your body can kind of acclimate, and it creates that adaptation that you're searching for, okay? So if you need more info regarding cardio, feel free to message me.